figured I would show you this piece today as I just went to haul it out and take it out of storage. I needed to use it for something and it wasn't working properly, so I figured I'd give it a good once over before putting it back in service for a project I'm working on. I have a bunch of laser discs that a client has brought me to transfer over to DVD for them. So I hauled out my spare. I've got several Laserdisc players. This is one of my top of the line ones that I haven't really been using a lot lately, and because I have others. This one here, well, let's talk about what this one does and how it works and how it's different from all the other Laserdisc players that I own. Well, most of them. For starters, it'll play Laserdiscs, but the neat thing about this is it plays both sides of the Laserdisc. The Laserdisc is recorded on both sides, and normally you have to flip it over halfway through. This one here, the laser assembly actually spins over, flips over to the top side, and it reverses the motor and plays it back. And I do have another Laserdisc player that also will play discs this way. It'll play both sides. What makes this one different than the one that's actually hooked up in my system is this one also does DVDs. Whereas my other laser player, it will play Laserdisc, and it will play audio CD, and it will play that CD video format that I showed you in the last video, that little gold disc. I've got a few of those with music videos on them. Actually, I think I've got 3, but still. It will play those discs. This one plays CDs, DVDs, and Laserdiscs. And since I have another machine in my console, in my cabinet, that plays and records, for that matter, DVDs, I didn't need to have a second DVD player, so I chose to put my other Laserdisc player in there that supports CD video as opposed to this one. So this one becomes a spare, and I just went to try it. I haven't even tried it to play a Laserdisc. I went to try and play a DVD on it. I wouldn't read it, so I'm thinking perhaps the lens is dirty. We'll clean the lens and we'll give this thing a once over and see if it'll play my DVD. So if we look down through here, you'll see the laser lens assembly down here. I'm just going to give it a little dust over, because sometimes what happens, especially when the machines have been sitting for a period of time, is that you get dust on the lens. The one thing I always advise against when you're working on DVD players, Laserdisc players, CD players, what the like, don't use air in a can. Don't use compressed air, dust off, and so forth. The reason that you don't use dust off is not air. Dust off is a fluorocarbon that is under pressure. It's a liquid under pressure. As the pressure is released, if you invert the can, you get frost out of it. It's cold spray. It's a refrigerant. The problem with dust off is it creates static electricity. When you're blasting that air, you don't realize that you could be creating several thousand volts of electrostatic difference between the components that you're hitting and the surrounding air. And an electrostatic discharge in the vicinity of a laser pickup can destroy that laser pickup. If you want to use compressed air, use compressed air from an air compressor, but better still, don't blow anything in there. If you have to, though, use compressed air from an air compressor. Now, even doing that, the problem with an air compressor is quite often there's going to be moisture in the air, so you have to use what's called dried air. So it needs to, if you're using an air compressor, you have to run it through a dryer first to remove any moisture from it. Otherwise, you're just asking for trouble. I'm going to try playing a couple different discs on this thing here. I'm going to first try a stamped CD, because I don't know that this will play a burned disc. It's pretty old, and it was made before DVD-R discs were even available, so it may not play a burned disc. But when I hit the, see that's kind of cool. When I hit the CD open button, it actually opens a small tray for CD and DVD. When I load it, the disc goes in. It reads it as a DVD. The disc spins, and we'll see if it starts to play this disc. And then I'm going to try a burned disc, and it is playing this disc, so we know that it works. Okay, now we'll see if it plays the burned disc. And I can skip through. This is, I mean, this is a fantastic machine. This is such a good, how do I do this? Play. I think I need the remote for this to do some of the features on here. There we go, now we can play it. I probably can't skip ahead, I have to wait for the menu to come up. Unlike that Yamaha machine, this one actually has buttons that you can at least work the player. It's got fast forward and reverse and previous, so you can switch through tracks. If I press the play button here, I should be able to select play. There we go. And if I skip forward, you see, this is useful. This is a useful player because you can do everything with it. Make sure I get sound. Yep, we have sound. So we'll go back, pan it back down to the player, and now I'm going to eject that disc, and we'll load up a CDR and see if it will read the CDR now. So this time I've loaded a CDR that I burned in my Panasonic DVD recorder, and we'll see whether it's able to read that. It wasn't able to read this before I cleaned the lens, so we'll see whether it reads this disc. Play. And if it plays this disc now, then we'll know that it was just the lens. Looks like it's not going to play it because it's a CD or DVD-R, and it's trying to read, but it's not going to read the disc. We'll try another DVD-R, but I'm pretty sure that this unit is too old for DVD-Rs, as all the DVD players were manufactured back before the DVD-R standard was finalized. 95% of the old players would not play DVD-Rs or DVD Plus Rs or the likes. We'll try another one recorded on a different brand of disc and see if we have any better luck. So I'm just going to try another disc here. I got two more discs to try. This one here is another disc. This was recorded on a Toshiba recorder as opposed to a Panasonic recorder. We'll see whether the Toshiba disc will play, or the Toshiba recorded disc will play on this player, and it doesn't appear to be. So it seems to be a problem with Memorex blank discs. So let's try a Maxell disc. This one, we'll see if this one plays, and then I can tell you what brand of machine recorded this once I see the menu come up here. If it plays. Search. Oh, look at this. We have a title. And it was recorded, I can just tell from that menu, this was recorded on a Lighton. A Lighton standalone, I think it was a DVD 505. I've still got the machine. I use it for specific transfers because it has the ability to accept a PAL signal from a PAL VHS player. It has the ability to accept a PAL signal and give me an NTSC output. So I keep that machine, that Lighton, I think it's a DVL 505. I keep that machine specifically for doing conversions that I get in PAL. But interesting, and probably the reason for it is, if you look at the two different discs, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's definitely a difference in the contrast between the recorded and the unrecorded section of the disc. You see how much darker the unrecorded section is compared to the unrecorded section of this one? The dye that they've used on the disc is a different chemical formulation, and this one's obviously got more contrast, enough contrast that the old laser in this unit is able to differentiate the difference between a pit and a land, as they call it, where the dye is burned. But that's important, if you know, and that's why I always like to use Maxell DVDs for, especially the older ones. The old, I've got a collection of the old, you know, the 8 times and so forth, the slower discs, and I bought a bunch of them way back because I found that they were superior for compatibility than the newer ones that you can pick up for a spindle of 100 for, you know, $12 or something. Anyway, let's open this up and see the laser portion. So if I just press the laser disc open button, it'll actually close the tray and it should open the laser disc portion. I may have to press the button again because I think it has to close first. Okay, now it will open the laser disc, and we close it. The laser disc should start to play. Now, I don't know if you saw what happened there, and here it is, it's playing perfect. Okay. This is a really good player. I love this player. But I just noticed something. And I'll show you when I'll go back to the other disc there, but let's change sides and watch what happens. This is going to switch over here, watch. Stops. Did you see that? Now the laser's here. The other laser is docked down here. It actually uses two separate lasers. If we look, take a look with the camera. I just noticed this now. I've had this player apart before and I never even noticed it. There's the laser. That's the laser for DVD. Let's make sure that we clean the right one. And the other laser is for laser disc. The laser disc laser is right here now. It's playing this disc. Go back to side A here. See, there it goes. See? The whole thing spins around. Now that other laser scoots out to the bottom. This is the DVD laser that's up top here now, which is parked. DVD laser is parked there. Laserdisc laser is reading. If I open this up, we should see, providing it doesn't switch lasers again. Open it up. Okay, so the disc, the laser that's in place now, this is the Laserdisc laser. We'll just make sure that it's clean. It's hard to see this one because it's docked over further. So that's the Laserdisc laser. We'll open this up again and you'll see how it works. The other laser is docked here facing down. This is the bottom of the DVD laser. So if we press play, it lifts up, docks the disc starts spinning. The disc is now playing. And I'm going to hit the reverse button here. So I hit the reverse button. It stops the disc. Laser switches around. Now the laser comes back. Now it's spinning the disc the opposite direction. This unit actually holds a freeze frame on the screen while it changes sides. How cool is that? My other player doesn't. My other one goes to a blue screen when it's time to switch sides. And there it goes. Now it's playing the other side of the disc. If I want to switch back to side A again, if I press the side A button, disc will stop, laser will spin around. Now the DVD laser is now parked. And now we're back to side 1 of the disc. And the quality is outstanding. We'll open this up again. I'm just going to try that. I'm going to try that Memorex disc again now that I've cleaned what I know is the right laser, because I'm not so sure that I cleaned the right laser. I may have cleaned the Laserdisc laser. So let's close it and see. Now it should detect the disc. It looks at it. It says, "Wait a minute, you're not a DVD. goes and gets the DVD laser and brings it back. I still think we're going to have issues though. It's not going to play this disc because it's a bad type of a bad blank. We'll try a few other blanks to see how they work. So this was a Fujifilm blank or recorded disc. We'll see if it can read the Fujifilm disc. It's trying. It says it's searching, but I don't have any video on the screen yet. Looks like it's probably not going to read the Fujifilm. Again, this is a 16 times disc. The other one was, I think it was an 8 times. Oh, actually it is playing it. But it's not playing it very well. As you can see, it's having some issues reading the disc. And again, it's not a weak laser or anything. It's the disc itself, the dye layer from the disc, the contrast is not quite high enough. And incidentally, this is the same type of symptom that you get if you leave recorded DVDs sitting out where they're exposed to light, and ultraviolet light will attack the surface of DVDs and it will cause the contrast to fade. So a disc that played fine one time, if you leave a disc sitting out like that on a tabletop or something where it's exposed to light, sunlight is the worst, but even UV light from fluorescent lighting will cause degradation of the signal that's read out because the dye layer is being effectively erased by exposure to light. You'll get that type of symptom where they'll start to play and they'll freeze up and pixelate and stuff because the signal level is low on all recorded media. So keep your discs in the dark, and best still back them up. I'm going to try a DVD RW and see if it will play that. So we're now loading a DVD RW. I have no idea what's on this disc. I have no idea if it's able to play it or not. It more than likely will not play a DVD RW disc just because of how an RW disc works. It works off of phase changes as opposed to blocking the light. It works off the changing the phase of the light, and it required optical pickups that were set up for RW format discs. And as I thought, it's going to spin the disc, but nothing happens because it cannot read DVD RW. Which I didn't expect that it would. But as far as playing stamp disc goes, plays stamp disc just fine. And take a look, you can even see the little laser spot here. If I focus the camera in, you'll see the little red spot from the laser as it shines through the disc. This is because DVDs use a red laser in the visible spectrum, and laser discs and CDs, the track pitch is much larger than a DVD. They use an infrared laser that you won't see. That's why this unit has 2 separate lasers and why it actually has to go and pick up the other laser when you want to play laser disc. I'm just curious how it plays music. Let's try music CD and see which laser it uses. So we'll load up, this is a CDR this time. We'll see if it can read the CDR. And it says, nope, can't do that. It's going to go pick the other laser up, bring the other laser back, and try to read it with this laser. Now again, this is a CDR this time, and of course it reads it says compact disc, and it plays. No problem. No problem reading a CDR. We'll try a stamped disc and see, it'll probably still play it with this laser that's on there. I'm going to try and make it play See if it will play with the DVD laser. It probably won't. Okay. That was interesting. What did my belt just decide to check out on me? Great. I think my little belt that opens and closes the disc drawer has decided it's going to fail, and I'm going to have to change a belt. Interesting. Well, that was interesting because it just changed lasers. It just went back to the DVD laser on its own. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that belt is worn. I'm going to have to change the belt because for whatever reason it's no longer either that or I didn't like that disc. I didn't like that disc now either. That's weird. We'll see if it'll load the laser disc again. I'm going to have to change that loading belt, I think. I can hear the belt slipping. But it may be okay. It may be okay with Laserdisc because they're a lot thicker. Nope. I guess I'm going to have to find the belt and change it. Got to locate that now. I'm sure I can find a belt to make this thing work. Okay, there's the belt that I got to change. It's not that difficult to get at. I should be able to hook that. I'm thinking I should be able to hook that with a little hook and lift it out without actually having to disassemble the mechanism. Too bad. Yeah, these Pioneer ones, a lot of times they weren't that bad to change the belt on. Not like some brands of units. But I'm sure I've probably got one of these belts kicking around here that will work. Or maybe we can even just put some anti-slip. I might just try putting some anti-slip on this belt or clean it to see whether that'll stop it from slipping. Because it isn't actually broken, it's just slipping. So why don't we try cleaning the belt first and see whether that'll fix the problem. It'll save me a little bit of time to tear it apart. So just a little cleaning with alcohol has seemed to solve that problem. We'll try a couple of discs in here. Go back to a DVD. There we go. It's accepting the disc. Going to swap lasers. There we go. Disc is playing. We'll open it. We'll go back to a CD and then we'll try a laser disc. There we go. Pop out the CD or pop out the DVD. Now it should read. It should swap lasers, which it will. There we go. Now it's gone back to the infrared laser again, which is the same laser it uses for Laserdisc. And now it's reading this disc. And we can play it. I have to admit, I've never ever listened to this CD. This is a friend of mine, I guess it's his brother-in-law, is a musician, and he gave me a CD, and I've had it for, I don't know, 20 odd years, and I can't say I've ever listened to it. He just said, here's my brother-in-law's CD, you can have it. And so he gave me a CD, and I can't say I've ever listened to it. One of these days I might actually have to listen to it. It might be pretty good stuff. But anyway, that part's working. Let's go back to the big disc on this thing, make sure that that's working too. See, sometimes all it takes is just a cleaning. The belt wasn't broken. It's not shedding rubber like those belts that melt. It was just slipping a bit, and there was still some pretty good tension on it. It was just slipping. So I figured, let's just give it a cleaning in case it's got some oil and stuff that's dripped onto it. And that appears to be all it was. There we go. Unit is playing, and we have a picture. I'll show you what happens when I flip it over to side 2. We'll wait till it's got a picture on here. Okay, if I hit the side 2 button, it'll actually freeze the picture. As it switches to side 2, laser swaps around. And it starts playing the second side. How cool is that? As you can see from the back panel, this unit had all the outputs you could ever want of the day. It had both composite video out. It also had S-video out, which is odd because S-video was never a format that was supported by Laserdisc. Laserdisc is a composite format system. So Laserdisc players normally did not have an S-video out. So that would make you wonder, why does this have an S-video out? Because S-video is component video. It's half component. Your component video, which normally has your red, green, and blue outputs, has the luminance on the green channel, and it has a red channel and a blue channel. And what is S-video? Well, S-video's got 2 channels. It's got the luminance, or what would be on the green plug, but the red and the blue are combined together. So they're still modulated together and they have to be separated in the TV. It's better than composite where you've got your luminance, chrominance, blanking, and sync. So YCBS is what's on your normal video output. You get your black and white luminance information, your color information, your vertical blanking, and your sync. All in one signal. Composite video. S-video, it has the luminance, the blanking and sync on one wire. It has the chroma information on another. And then when you move up to component video has the luminance and the sync information on the green channel, and then the blue channel just carries the blue information. The red channel carries the red information. So the reason this unit has an S-video output on it, because as I already explained, S-video has no advantage at all on Laserdisc, because Laserdisc is a composite format. The chroma signal is already mixed in with the video, so there's no advantage to separating the chroma from the video signal after the fact. As some Laserdiscs, such as Panasonic, they sold one with an S-video out and they claimed that the S-video was going to give you a better picture. Yeah, right. It makes no difference whether you separate the chroma from the luminance signal in the Laserdisc player or you let the TV do it. In fact, the TV probably has a better Lumichroma decoder in it than the $10 one that they put into the Laserdisc player so they could sell it as a selling feature. So you still may ask, why does this one have it then if it doesn't affect the picture quality, does not improve the picture quality? Well, you got to remember, this unit has a DVD player, and DVDs are a component video system. So the chroma and the luminance signals are separate, just like on high 8 and super VHS analog tape formats and DV tape. The chroma and the luminance signals go through completely 2 separate channels, and they don't mix together on a DVD. So by connecting the S-video out on a player like this to your TV will give an improved picture when playing DVDs, but will not make any difference whatsoever when playing Laserdiscs. Other outputs that this has, it has your audio outputs, which will play either the analog hi-fi AFM stereo signal encoded on older discs, or it'll play the PCM soundtrack encoded on the newer discs. And it's also got digital outputs on it. If we look on here, it's got an optical digital output which has PCM AC3 digital, and that is only when you select it through the PCM through the GUI. That will only play PCM when you are playing, I believe it's DVDs. And it also has a coaxial output. It has 2 of them. It's got PCM AC3 digital, and it's got PCM. The PCM AC3 digital was a format that was specific to, actually it's got this one here. It's got 3 outputs. It's got AC3 RF output, It's got digital out, PCM, AC3, and PCM. PCM is a 2-channel down mix. PCM AC3, this is for AC3 output, and PCM from DVDs, and it's got this one here. AC3 RF, Laserdisc. See, it says LD, Laserdisc. The Laserdisc never had Dolby Digital sound. They had AC3, or they had Dolby Digital sound, but it was in stereo. That was decoded by your sound system, surround system. Many Laserdiscs also had AC3 digital. The AC3 digital was encoded on one of the 2 analog AFM soundtracks. And what this output did was it let you take the FM or the RF output directly from the disc. And that went to an external adapter, which converted it from RF to AC3. So to play the AC3 soundtrack off of any Laserdisc required an extra adapter that plugged into that terminal, and it gave you coaxial AC3. So this machine's got all these different plugs on it. It's got your AC3 PCM for DVDs. It's got the analog outputs for both. It's got the RF output for Laserdiscs that were encoded, and not all of them were, but some of the later ones were, with the AC3 RF soundtrack. And it's got that guy there, the optical output. And it's got control in and out. That's for controlling it with a remote control, so that if it's hidden in a cabinet somewhere, you can work it without having line of sight. That's the back of this machine. Look at the date. We'll zoom in there so you can see the date. 1997, March 1997. So this machine is 17 years old. That's pretty old for electronics, and it's still working. Nice piece. Okay, that wraps up this video. As usual, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.